is the moment you've been waiting on. Once again, they back. The Chestnut Show. Y'all know what we do if y'all love them. Y'all know what we do if y'all hate them. But whatever you do, let's get this line of communication open. We got some things to talk about, y'all. Let's go.
Welcome. You're now tuned in to another episode of the Just Us Show.
Come on, everybody. This is Woody. This is your boy Mike. Wow.
So another show, another week down. So let's go ahead and jump into the kind of what we talked about last week, where we got into trigger warning a little bit with Killer Mike and his special on Netflix.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, check the Netflix series out.
Please check it out.
To watch.
I'm gonna check it out.
Well, I'm just saying for anybody. Just anybody check it out. I mean, you will learn something from it. There's
You
gonna
get
be
a
some
different
funny parts.
view,
There's gonna be some serious parts.
a different perspective on things, and it makes you open your eyes a little more.
Yep.
To stuff you may not have seen before, and give you something to think about.
But
so, which episode or you had the most to get in or to talk about? So go ahead and
my main
throw it
thing,
out there.
I want to start off.
Yeah,
with,
what'd you get from it?
I got a lot. I got a lot of stuff from it. Plus, like I said, if you haven't seen it, also the Breakfast Club, they just dropped a clip. Well, their show with Killer Mike today. So hearing that reiterated a lot of stuff that I saw on the show. But a lot of the stuff that Killer Mike did on the show, he just basically told, gave people a different perspective on stuff. Had people open up their mind to different ideologies, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like kind of what we were going to be discussing later. But one thing that he was talking about when he was talking about the black dollar, and everything else and segregation and stuff like that is it's the fact that whether you were and he didn't just push the black dollar. He told everybody go support small businesses, go support a business that where people that run it don't look like you. So if you're white, go to Asian, black, whatever. If you're black, go to white, whatever. He was talking about everybody trying to put that dollar in there and get it going. But some of the things he was talking about, and I know we were talking about segregation and integration and stuff like that, but the way he grew up, the way his parents or his grandparents actually raised him, they actually had farms and things like that. So they grew their own food and they sold it to the local deli and the butcher and stuff. So he saw this way of life with black people, and I don't think that segregation should still be around. I just think we as people used it wrong when we got the integration. That's the problem. When we were able to sell to other people, and when we were able to get other customers, whites and every other race, we didn't continue to build that legacy with our families. That's one thing that Killer Mike was talking about is these people that had these farms and these stores back in the day. When they opened it up and they started making more money, they eventually sold and moved out the hood or whatever. So they didn't plant that seed in the hood. That's why in the hood nowadays it's
still going on. It's still
right.
You make it to get out.
Right.
You don't make it to come back and help the community. You make it to get the fuck away from it.
Right. And the problem with thinking like that is what we're basically saying as minorities. We're basically saying where we come from ain't shit. And where they go and where they live is much better. So we're basically saying the same things that they're saying to us about us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where instead we should be saying, hey, we can change and build up our own communities to be like yours, or if not better. But that's not the ideology that we choose to use.
They were prior, though.
We weren't taught that.
They were prior to integration.
Right.
You had flourishing black communities that were great prior to integration.
Well, I wouldn't say flourishing. I mean, they were making it, but
right.
they weren't like CEO Fortune 500 club making it. But they were doing okay.
Well, Tulsa, Oklahoma, you had black banks,
right? But think about that. Think about
that's just that one area,
right? The small minority.
I see what you're saying. I see how you like to chop that down. Right. I think it was basically just wrong timing of it. I think honestly. You gotta understand, we had a late start, right? So literally, when we did get pushed off the plantations, things of that nature, and we were creating, we still had time to create, to make it to a point which we say,
But we had a long way we had a lot to catch up with, though, Mike.
Yeah, and nothing was given to those
right.
slaves when they were released.
Right.
It was like,
and
okay,
they had no education.
Here you go, get the fuck out.
Yeah, right. You can't. It's like going to like a third grade class and saying, "Hey, y'all start a business." They really don't know how to start that. There's no one there.
Right,
There's no.
right.
But if you brought someone in that can tell you, okay, this is what you do. These are the steps.
And see,
to start a business, they could do it.
They
Even
did that
third graders could do
with,
it.
with white farmers or immigrants that came over and they got land and
Right.
they were backed and they had the government helping them out.
Absolutely.
Whereas we didn't have shit. It was kind of like, okay, you're left to your own devices, figure it out.
Right.
Right, and I think we were doing. I mean, remember we were talking about how the motherless homes were higher now than they were back then, and all that. I think this has a lot to do with that. I mean, literally, I think we were on a path of success prior to integration. Now, I'm not saying that white people and black people shouldn't. I'm not on that type of shit. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to get at is, it's like the government used the Commerce Clause, right? So the government clearly pushed black and white people together without them even kind of knowing each other. I don't understand your behavior, you don't understand mine, but we want the black people to be integrated into these schools. But it wasn't for the favor of black people at the time. That's what I'm trying to get at. It was the government never had our best interests at heart. So for them to push us into these environments where we're now sharing, we already got the late start. Now I got to compete with.
But let me ask you this: do you think they did it on purpose? Do you think it's like that hostile takeover syndrome, where it's like, well, cool, go ahead and let the minorities, let the black people, let them open it up for everybody. Let's integrate, because when we have $10 to every $1 of theirs, they can't compete with us, and eventually we'll just buy them out for $2 and take over their part, and now we're making more money. Do you think that's kind of what the master plan was? The reason why it failed so bad, or what?
I think it was clearly
else?
because of that. It was because of a lot of people owning their own land, things like that. And if you push a group of people that aren't really, and I'm not saying that we were children mentally or something like that.
No, right, no.
I mean,
but they weren't prepared.
We were not prepared for that, because kind of think about it this way.
But you also got to think, Mike, too, the education aspect of it. To an extent, we were children, because like even Killer Mike was talking about his grandfather dropped out of school in the 3rd grade, so he was running a business as once again as a 3rd grader. He was running a business, a farm, as a 3rd grader. So that's a huge disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? And this was primarily before the idea of higher education was really a fundamental.
Would it be a disadvantage in the system in which we got integrated to? Like, it would be, right? But
yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
if we weren't integrated, it wouldn't be a disadvantage.
he really wasn't at disadvantage, because in his community he was on par with everybody else.
So competing with the
But
white
now coming from an outside,
there's no way you can't compete.
You're
with
done.
Right.
They
So
took
now
advantage
you
of him, bottom up, and then he'd have been done.
Exactly. So just think about if that person were to stay there before integration or forcing him in there, he would be able to pass that on to us. They would take that information and enhance. We didn't get that chance to do it. So that's why you're not going to see a lot of black businesses, bro. Like, we never got a chance to actually kind of like be endowed by our parents with this information. That was taken away from them. And I think that comes a lot from the low self-esteem. Like, this is going to sound weird, but you ever been driving in a car? Well, I guess you guys, you know what I mean? It's been a while for you. When you guys were dating, right? And you're driving in a car and you got your chick in the passenger seat. And you in like a Nissan Maxima, right?
Okay.
All right. Then a brother pulls up next to you in a Ferrari. There's no person in the seat. You ever get that sinking feeling like, all right, bro, this guy's way above me. He can take whatever I have.
You feel inadequate.
Feel
Exactly.
inferior to it.
Exactly. So if I'm a black person and I'm pushed into this society where I'm not really ready for, and I'm looking around and you're seeing white people with the better cars, white people with better houses, you're going to create this low self-esteem. You're going to be, and then that's going to be passed down to your children, and thus far, it's just going to.
I don't know if you're going to create it, because you got to think about it. This was something that was learned for the black community, was that you weren't a human, you weren't a full man, you weren't equal to us. So as long as your grandparents and stuff are there, you know, and the elders in your community, they're telling you, like, hey, because you know how it is, Mike. When you tell somebody what you want to do,
right?
And it happens a lot with black folks for some reason. When you tell somebody what you want to do or what you think you can do, there's more people.
No, you can't do that.
Right? They're making 20 people.
Right.
At least 18 of them are telling you what you can't do. Some are going to tell you, you can't do it because, man, that's not what we do. Some are going to tell you, oh, you don't have the education that they do. Some are going to tell you, no, they don't want you in there. and then maybe 2 of them will say, "Man, go ahead. I'm behind you." So we do that to ourselves a lot.
Right.
So we hurt ourselves before we even give them a chance to shoot us down. You know what I'm saying?
And
Well, it's because it's, and I'm gonna go as far as say that's learned.
Right.
Because think about it.
It definitely is.
Think of how many slaves didn't run,
Yeah.
and the ones that did it, you better don't do it.
Yeah.
They probably
yo, Willie out there, he
Yeah.
fucking around with that whip. Absolutely, I think a lot of that's. I don't think that's. It's weird. I'm not trying to blame that on black people. Like we're so negative, we came up that way. The environment we were in, I think, like I said, prior to the civil rights and all that other shit, we literally basically had. When I mean flourishing, I mean you had black families.
Right.
Above 85% of black fathers and wives stayed together with the children and everything. Then when this shit happened, you then have this extreme drop, right? In education, motherfuckers not wanting to actually go to school, getting money fast. That comes from that because literally we actually gauge our success against white people. That's what we do. If I don't have, like, basically, when I say I'm rich, I think we do. I mean,
I do think that to an extent, and I think it goes back to what we've said in the past, is because the white way seems to be the normal way. So if the normal way is have a home, have nice vehicles, go on vacations, so like if that's the normal thing that most white people do as a normality, then yes, we do gauge ourselves against them. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree. I do agree with that. So
right, absolutely.
But is that really the white way?
No, I mean,
no, it's not really
because it happens in other countries. They do the same thing where you go to school, you
right?
get a job,
but here
in
this country, I mean, that's the thing. Let's be honest. Most of us don't know or don't know or don't care about what's
black
going
on in the hood.
Like you said, like most people don't know how it is for black people in other countries, in Germany, in France, and in the USSR or Russia, whatever it's called now. Most people don't understand that lifestyle. We can only gauge against the American black person. You know,
right.
So here, the normal way is what's considered the white way. You know,
which in a way is synonymous with better way, right?
Yeah, I
let's
agree.
be real.
I would agree.
We say, I got a better job, I got more money in my pocket.
Or I say the easier way, because think about it, white people don't talk about the struggle, but niggas do. I mean, that's part of the vocabulary, the struggle. Anything we're doing is like we're working. Our grind is the struggle. It's real. It's realistic.
Right, but then at the same time, we have to live under a glass ceiling. So there's that part that you'll never kind of obtain based on your skin color alone. So now I'm living in a society where I have to see this and know that I can only go so far unless I'm doing some type of sports.
But you have to be aware of that.
Right.
Most people don't know that they can't get past that level.
Right, but we have our parents that tell us this shit when we get to a certain age. We kind of condition our kid. I did it to my son. Like, hey man, you a brother, all right? There's some shit that's going to happen that's just not fair, and you're not going to understand it. Period. So we already condition our children to kind of get ready for you're going to be disappointed based on what you look like.
I would agree.
I just did that yesterday with my middle kid, but he kind of don't believe me. So,
and speaking on that aspect, that was one of the things too. If you watch the Trigger Warning with Killer Mike, he said that when he went, it was crazy, man. I'm talking about the one where they did the job, the education system, the job. He went. He had a focus. He had another focus group, and it was like 3 or 4 black folks in there, and then like a couple white people and like a Mexican girl, something like that. But he was going around the room asking everybody like, what would be your dream job? And the 3 brothers that was in there, they all said the same shit, like music, working in music.
Yeah. And
like what Killer Mike. What he tried to explain.
And then one thing he said, "Don't give me no mixtapes, so don't try to audition for me."
But he basically threw that out there because he even said like this. I think we found what's wrong with the
and
black.
he looked
the black
annoyed
community.
when they said that.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. Like these black people that were there, their dream job was something that had to do with music. The white guy had said, I forgot what the white guy said, but other people said different things.
Right.
But it was like that shouldn't be our ultimate goal is to have that life. It takes everybody to do something.
He even said, like somebody said, well, Obama did it. Said, well, Obama was biracial.
Right.
So he doesn't count.
Yeah.
Right.
He said, you got to be honest with these kids and tell them, look, you need to trade because you're not going to get to where you think you can't.
Right, but somehow I think,
Which is why he came up with the porn, teaching you how to.
Right, because he knew people would pay
What he
attention
learned
to
is,
porn.
since the rise of the internet, porn, more people watch porn than anything else.
Porn's like 80% of
So-
what everybody looks for.
He gave these
Absolutely.
people a test on how to change a light bulb and shit like that. They all failed it.
Yeah.
So he made a porn, a real live legitimate porn.
Well, he
teamed up with somebody.
Yeah, he got a guy who actually knew.
How to fix shit.
because
He
I'm
taught
not
the
trying
So it
actors-
wasn't
to
just like some.
I ain't trying to see
porn
Killer Mike.
Nah.
He's slinging wood. No,
So the guy
man.
taught the actors how to fix shit. So they learned, and then the camera guy came in and they filmed. Okay,
Right.
this is
With
how
actual
you
porn
fix
stars, yep.
this. They had like a lesbian scene. They had like a dude and a chick, and then they had two gas niggas on there. But
Had to be neutral.
yeah, but after they did
he wanted to get all
yeah,
sides.
he wanted to include everybody. So after they watched the movie, they all took another test, and they scores went up by like 75%.
Yeah, all of them.
They all learned some shit from watching people fuck and fix something.
Right.
Wait, I don't get this concept. Wait, so they were smashing, right?
Yeah, but they were also teaching about.
Where they
well,
were
this is
talking,
how-
they
this
were
is how
actually,
you-
they were actually fucking with shit while somebody's
They were-
hitting.
Right, like this is how you wire up a socket. This
Yeah,
is
like
how
the dude
you,
was wiring the socket and the chick was blowing him at the same time.
Yeah,
Shit like
yeah,
that.
he was snaking the pipe,
I
cleaning
gotta
the
snake
pipe.
this pipe like in a corny ass way, but
Yeah.
Okay, I got what you're saying.
And they retained it. They retained it. Now I don't know if it. Now to be fair, I don't know if they retained more of it because it was the second time they had done it, or you know what I'm saying, like if it was more familiar to them, or I don't know if they retained it because of the porn. But who knows? I mean, it could be legit. You just never know. But I was gonna say one thing about it is people need to understand. We all need to understand. Everybody can't be a superstar doing something. That's just not the way the world is made up. Like not everybody can be king. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because what's a king without subjects? It's just another dude. You know what I'm saying? And we can't all be kings because then nobody's a king. You know what I'm saying? You need like I'll put it like this: if you took a room full of 10 people and you gave them 10 chairs and you said, hey, this first chair number 1 has $1 million in it, and then you said chair number 2 also has $1 million. Chair number 3 also has $1 million, but the difference is chair number 1 you can get it instantly. If you just go sit in that chair, you get $1 million. Chair number 2 you can get it, but you got to work 10 years to get it. Chair number 3 you got to work 20. Chair number 4 30,
Right.
40, going down the line. Out of those 10 people, how many would pick chair number 1?
All 10.
Everybody, exactly 10 of 10 would, but that's just not the way. That's not reality. Reality is, some people are gonna have a gift to be able to do something, or a knack to be able to do something that the world or consumers want to see, and it's gonna create a lot of funds from it. But the other 9 out of 10, it's gonna take, if you can still obtain that,
You
but
just
it's
gotta
gonna
go
take
another
you a longer to get it done.
Right,
That's,
and
that's the reality, and we don't teach that. We teach everybody that they can sit in chair 1.
yeah, everybody
That's
can be
not
president.
reality.
Not everybody can be president.
Right, that's not the real reality.
That's
so
real, too.
You have to
That's
be
some
true
real
with people.
Like
you
he
have to be.
even went to a school, and they had a black principal, and he was like, "Well, I want to. You think I can just like teach these kids how to trade instead of learning math and
Right.
English?" And she was like, she didn't agree with it, but that's what he was basically trying to push. Like, why are we teaching stuff that they're not going to use?
Right.
Absolutely.
And actually teach them something that can contribute to their income and them earning a living.
Like Job Corps or something like that. Like for younger, right, bro. But I think in our community, bro, it's like, think about it. Whenever, like, this is crazy too. I always think about this story. There was literally, I remember meeting, no, it wasn't Steven Jack. It was a basketball player. I'm pressed for time. But it was a basketball player, right? And what was crazy was the person I was just talking to was an actual pediatrician.
Mm-hmm.
This is a woman that saves kids.
Right.
But was mesmerized when she saw this basketball player.
Uh-huh.
Any other black pediatrician, if that white woman saw a black pediatrician, it'd be it's another person, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But in her mind, she was and I'm thinking to myself, think about that. You put more value in what he does than what you do. If I'm a black man, I'm walking around this country, I'm starting to see that in the white frame of thing, and I get more respect being an athlete
Then you do
or
being
being a rapper or a doctor. She like basically devalued her occupation based on the fact that this dude was able to put a ball in the ring.
Right.
So if I'm a black person in this society and I'm already feeling insecure about my personal wealth as well as materialistic wealth, And I'm noticing that white people, the people that I'm trying to go up against, or at least match up with in life, and that's a lot of black people's agenda, is like, I want these things because white people kind of have them.
Well, but let me ask you this though, because I think you're touching on something important right there. Do you think it could be the fact that anybody who's a doctor or going through something like that, you get your PhD, you're practicing medicine or whatever, it should be, like you said, it should be it should be something that we look at as a great thing, not just a good thing, but a great thing, to be able to do that, because it took a long road for you to get there, a lot of hard work and everything else. But do you think it's one of those things where black pediatricians, brain surgeons, whatever, still feel not accepted by
their peers,
by white America, but a basketball player,
not even white America, by their peers, by other white doctors and who think they can't.
Right, but a black dude can walk in, a NBA player can walk in,
and everybody loves him.
That's crazy. Do you understand that? This man serves no purpose in your life. At least this pediatrician or this brain surgeon can actually prolong, like we just talked about, the inevitable.
Right. If your kid is hurting and close to death, Shaq can't put his hands on him and heal that mother.
Hey, let me help you out real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But the pediatrician, that's who you want on.
Green Mile, some big, some big black nigga with magic.
Right.
Literally a nigga that's walking around putting the ball. And I'm not taking away from the sport or trying.
Right,
to
me neither. I love sports.
Right. But they serve no real purpose. For some reason,
we put too much emphasis on
their importance in our society. So if I'm a black person and I'm fighting for my respect, right? That's what we do. We literally, and it's hard not to. It's like, all right, rappers and athletes get the respect and the things that I want.
But I think it's because we look at them as special. You know what I'm saying? Like special in a even like a doctor.
Like
I know
us.
I'm not built to be a doctor, but to be a doctor, it takes a lot of hard work, and you have to have a brain retention and be able to, you have to be able to control and hold all this information and apply it to something practical. You have to be able to do that. We look at that as, I mean, you can do it with hard work, but I don't really feel like doing that. But you look at like an NBA player, an NFL player, and you look at them and say, well, damn, these niggas can do stuff that
it's easier.
Well, not
it's the easy. Well, in their mind, it's easier than going to school.
And it is.
Right. But at the same time, you still look at them as having an extra ability to be able to do these things. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy,
but you don't look at a doctor as having an extra ability, even though they do, to be able to.
Because not everybody can dunk a ball.
Well, not just that,
right? But not everybody can understand.
I know, but they don't.
Anatomy and stuff like that.
We don't put the focus on education.
Right.
It's like you're brought up. You better be able to catch a ball, dribble a ball, sing, or recite some damn lines.
Right.
That's the only way you gonna make it. And let's be real, all right? I think Dave Chappelle said it best when he was talking about. I forgot the special where he was like, hey, I went to the school and I told these kids, like, if you're trying to make it out the hood, you niggas need to learn how to play basketball, rap, or something. You are stuck. You are stuck unless you can do those things. And Chris Rock, I piggyback off Chris Rock.
Yeah,
when
Chris Rock
said basically, like, I live right next to a regular dentist.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, he's talking about Mary J. Blige, Jay-Z, and all them in his area, and then also
black
like
dentist want to live, he needs to invent teeth.
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like literally, if you're seeing this subconsciously, consciously, and you're looking at the people that do garner respect in our community, it's going to be basketball players.
It's those elite people.
Right,
they're not looking at the HVAC guy or the
black
plumber.
Right. No, they don't care about that. But even a plumber job has more significance than a basketball player. Do you understand this?
Right.
Like
you need air conditioning. You need fucking heat. It's a goddamn blizzard going on in the Midwest right now.
You can
right,
die.
exactly. Right. So but
you won't die.
But getting a trade is not pushed in our community. And
you know what? That's the funny thing too. Piggyback on what you saying, Vaughn. That's the mentality that most people have. Like, damn, I can't make it as a rapper. I can't make it as an actor. I can't make it in the pros. I got to go get a real job. You know, like that's not a fallback. You know what I'm saying? That's not let me go get a trade because I can't do shit else. Like, no, that's not a fallback. That's a come up. You got to realize that's a come up. That's not a fallback. But we look at it because we all.
How many white people turn that trade into a business?
Right, but we don't think like that.
Then they're set. Parker and Sons and all these fucking corny ass commercials. These shits has been in business for like over 30, 40 years, and the shit's hand down to their kids.
Right.
It must be nice to be you.
What are you talking
You watching them daytime commercials. That show ain't coming through in the day.
Come on, man. You know that shit come on anytime.
That Parks and
You
Service.
seen the fucking what's the dude with the sandwich and shit, and he's always fucking up.
Yeah, the smell, not the smell good plumber.
The dude with the fucked up
Yeah,
bricked
the
up circle
Melvins
shit.
and shit.
Melvins.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm whatever.
You see?
Yeah, I know you do. I know you. Why you been at work? I know you.
But
do
that
it.
trade can easily become wealth.
Right, but
if
you have,
you do
but you
it
have
right.
to, and that's the thing. Get a trade, get some real income coming in, steady income. Take that,
Right.
Take that, and I know this is not for everybody, but take that. Go to school in your part time. Get you some business license, or get you some business knowledge. Go get the business licenses, whatever you can do. Save up your money so you can go into the. If you have most minorities, if you go into a bank looking for a loan, either you're gonna have to get a smaller loan and make lemonade
Right.
out of lemons, or you're gonna have to put some of your money forward too. That's just how it is.
Well, let's be real though. Bitches ain't checking for plumbers though. Let's
Right,
be real.
but
The
If
incentive,
you are the plumber pulling up in the Ferrari,
Right.
but to start off, if I'm starting as
yeah, you got to have that mindset. But and 90% of us don't.
and patience. But let's be real. Our makeup as men is to fuck. Let's just break it down, bro. Like the shit that we do every day, really, is to either get pussy or to maintain it. That's it. I got a job, put money in the bank, got to keep the wife under a roof, got to basically make sure the kids is fed, things like that, right? But that's what I'm trying to say, man. Ain't nobody.
And there are some, to be real, and there are some women that make the money to put the roof over their head.
Right.
So we got we know we.
Right, but the majority.
But I get your point.
Wait,
I get your point.
They're desperate. Dick should be free. Let's be real, bro.
It should.
It is.
It is. But if you're a woman paying for another nigga, something's wrong in your life. Let's be real.
If you're a woman paying for the dick game is
ridiculous.
on par.
Yeah,
it's yeah.
Right. He's had a
So
lot.
he's fooled you into paying for every goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Right, and you ain't. And the only reason he's that good, he just has a lot of time to practice. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
you're right.
We gotta go to work and school.
Right.
All right. So
Like
right.
yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to right. But and that's what it is, man. If you break it down, and that's the part, man. As a black man, especially here, we're over sexualized, right? So even me, bro, like even growing up, like that's all I thought about really, right? It was like it wasn't me getting one woman; it was to have many, so I can tell other men about this, right? But it had me creating a lifestyle where I had to be in a way flashy, almost in a way peacocking to get them. I had to right. I can't do that as a plumber. I can't do that. Right, and I see what you're saying, right? But and I believe and I agree with everything that you're saying. That it'd be great to learn trade, bro. But at the same time, you have to get women on the same path. You got all these women on Instagram and actually judging men on the materials they have rather than the brain that they use.
Right.
You're gonna have a bunch of men following that. So they're like, okay, I need to get the materials. Fuck the brain. Fuck obtaining knowledge. No business walking around like, oh, that nigga's brain is sexy as shit. It's not.
But I will. But there's
So
at the same time, there's also a bunch of them women on Instagram and everything else. A lot of them are messing with dudes who don't have shit. So that doesn't make sense. Wouldn't you rather have at least the plumber over the broke nigga? I mean, like, wouldn't that make more sense?
Nah, because the broke nigga has like Gucci and shit that he can't afford.
Bro. He has the look.
He has the look of
If I'm-
wealth.
But yeah, right. But he can't maintain it. And then when he gets with you, you realize he could never maintain it. And then you start maintaining him. And then
But by then it's too late.
he ain't shit.
It's too late.
It's too late.
But then the plumber ain't shit either. By virtue of being interconnected somehow with this nigga that fooled you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I mean, the plumber. I mean, it's really think about it, man. The reason why we strive for these things as men, for these names and these titles, even though it's all bullshit, because it really does not matter. But we strive for this shit, like I said, to maintain or get pussy. That's all it's really about. And as soon as women change their agenda of what they want, then you would see men. Like, for example, men don't like wearing skinny jeans, bro. We don't.
Wait a minute.
Wait, hold on. Let me
Wait a
finish.
minute. I think
Unless he's wearing-
some dudes they just fucking like this.
Right. Unless this man is wearing mascara or some shit like that, he's
But
like
what do you classify as skin? Like, to me, if
fitted jeans. I wear fitted jeans, but I'm talking about the motherfuckers wearing the elastic blue jean joints.
yeah.
Right.
Like the female looking jean. Yeah, that's
Like
The
leggings.
only reason niggas is wearing that is
that's
because
form fitting, hugging. Yeah.
it's almost like niggas is wearing that because women told niggas, oh, that's sexy. As soon as that nigga hears that, it's, oh man, I'm buying me 10s and to get pussy. It's what it's about. And as soon as women change their, and then I think that's the problem. Women literally control the world. They're just unaware of them being able to have the power to do it. They just do not understand. Like,
men do everything based on what a woman wants.
Thinks the man should be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like you said, a peacock in the fucking jungle. We're in the goddamn jungle, but
Right.
a peacock. The whole thing is to attract a woman as flashy as he can fucking be. I just watched fucking nature show today. Fucking hermit crab came out. The ocean tide went down. They all came out to clean up that one big ass blue claw. It was like 20 of them motherfuckers out there just flexing that arm, trying to get the woman to come to their home.
Right, but you know what's great about that though? When you look at the animals doing it, they're looking at it for survival reasons, right?
Right.
So when the animals looking at it, it's like, all right, this is the biggest.
Yeah, this is my best chance to have my kids survive.
Safe. When somehow in our society, in the human society, it's been flipped, right? It has nothing to do with the survival. Now, when a woman looks at a man, she's not really thinking about, okay, how's he think? No, how will he treat my children?
Right.
She's looking at just the physical or the material aspect of it. It's like, okay, if I get this nigga, it's gonna make the rest of the bitches mad. Like the idea is fucked up. As soon as I think, and that's just my opinion. I think as soon as they change their idea of what a man is, that can change the world.
But it's
always
still gotta be
changed.
twofold. Yeah, it's gotta be. Yeah.
I think it's changed over time. Because men do different shit now than they did 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
Like as women change and as society dictates what you need to look like, that's what happens. Now look at how many women, especially on fucking Instagram, have the same goddamn shape.
That's crazy.
Small waist, fat ass, big titties. All of them.
Right.
And none of them are naturally built like that.
Right. They've been conditioned
To think that that's beautiful. Now they're going and putting themselves at risk for
that's-
quote unquote
right.
what is
But that's
acceptable.
not because of literally men.
No, that's
that's
for them to attract us.
Right. That's the part. They're actually trying to attract. I mean, they want us to be attracted to them. When in actuality, we need to be fighting to be attractive to them with our willpower to survive. Right. That means working a job, finding a trade. Like those things should be looked upon in a
Being
great
a
light.
stable individual.
Right.
It's like somebody who has the mentality of I will never be broke should be coveted.
Yeah, I will never
You know
go
what I'm
homeless.
saying?
Is my
But
mentality.
it's not right. It's not, but it should be.
But exactly.
Because that means if I'm never gonna be homeless, if you mess with me, you will never be homeless.
Yeah.
And the kids,
Unless you fuck up,
right.
then I will keep a home, and then your ass will be homeless.
Right.
Right.
But that should be. I hear what you're saying though.
You feel me though?
Yeah.
You feeling me?
I know.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
So where was this? Like, kind of went off in a whole
No,
another
it didn't.
whole.
It was all parallel to what we were speaking about.
Which was what?
The Mike Jones,
Killer Mike.
Killer Mike, and we were talking about basically the human condition, black people.
Because we start off with segregation to integration to.
And we're talking about how we basically compare. And I'm saying basically we do that. We want to be compared to white people, things like that, man. But when you break it all down, it turns straight into sexuality, in my opinion.
But
that's where we got it from.
But let me I guess turn down another street. Still staying with I guess the black community. That's the only room we can really speak on right now. But like there's a misnomer I believe that when you talk about why things are the certain way they are, like in the hood, why is it so bad in the hood? Why don't people just move out of the hood? Why do people want to be in the hood? Like what's like the whole keeping it real and this and that, right? I think there's a misnomer that there's that black people. Okay, I guess this is the easiest way I can say it. Everyone seeks knowledge, no matter who you are, no matter where you are. Everyone seeks knowledge, even black people.
It's
because
a type of knowledge, though.
Right, and that's what I want to differentiate is because the fact that if you look at somebody who's slanging dope or running guns or something like that in the hood,
some
right?
illegal shit.
Yeah, some illegal shit. You look at them as ignorant, right? But I don't look at it that way. Now, this may sound strange, but I look at it as they have just as much knowledge as an average businessman. Because,
They're just using it for the wrong shit.
Right, and that's the problem. Like, people look at the difference between someone acting ignorant and someone acting prosperous is the knowledge of someone who's prosperous that knowledge is more factual or correct. You know what I'm saying? Or acceptable.
No, I see what you're saying.
Versus somebody else. Like I said, the fact that you can maintain a lifestyle, illegal or illegal, with everything in the world against you, is a genius concept. You know what I'm saying? And if that same knowledge was brought in a positive way, there's so much more that could be done in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I mean. This is what I mean, because you can go into the hood and speak knowledge, speak some real positive knowledge,
dropping jewels.
Right. But then someone else can come and say this and say something different, something what we consider negative, and that will fly. It's because people will hear that and understand because it's more tangible. It's more tangible to say you can take this.
It's easier to see the dude that you've seen all your life on the corner who has the car and you know he's doing dirt than to try to be something that you've never seen before.
Right, but not only that, you know all the ins and outs of that business or that organization. You know about the guy in the corner. You know about the guy in the stash house. You know about the guy downtown that can. You know about the guy, right? You know about the connect that can bring that can take stuff up. You know about all these things. These are all legitimate business type functions, but we just use them in the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Where if we did use those things in a positive way, there could be so much more could happen for black communities. Meaning that whole integration, there could be more black owned businesses if you ran that hustle the same way on a legit way. You know, if you ran that hustle on a legit way. But the problem is when you talk about legit, you like I said, you always have them few that say, man, they won't give us those loans. They won't let us do that. They will lock you up if something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like we do that to ourselves instead of just trying it and making moves. You know what I'm saying?
I got an example of that because I was watching this thing on Vice. I watch a lot of weed shows on Vice, but there's this. It's talking about basically how the if you look at like the black dudes that are selling weed and doing like the white people are getting in on this shit, so they're good to go. They're legal.
Right, it's legal. They're getting in.
So basically, there's this black dude he's in Atlanta. Now he's in California or Oregon, but that's where every rapper or athlete got their weed from, because he was selling that shit and he made a whole lot of money. Couldn't show his face, could never show anything. And then when he tried to get into it legally, couldn't get the funding, couldn't get the backing because he was black.
Right.
So then he gets in touch with another guy who I think he owns a record label or some shit, but he ended up backing him, and now this guy is importing in Oregon. He has his home farm and he's growing his own shit legally now. So basically, it's like what you want the dudes in the hoods to do, they won't do it because they can't, like you say, they can't get that backing.
Right.
They need somebody from the outside to give them the money, but are they gonna go to anybody on the outside?
Right. But at the same time, that's why I also say it's very important. It's very important, whether we like it or not, to somehow get involved in the political scene, because we have to make. I mean, the reason why the weed is legal now is because people were working behind the scenes.
White people.
To get that shit legal, so they can make. They knew how much more money they could make.
Right.
The same thing with alcohol. Same thing with tobacco and everything else. You need that. We can't just sit back and say, well, this shit is illegal, but we don't do it anyways to make money, because they will take that shit in a minute.
And now hemp is legal. And now you got everybody. They're starting to legalize out here to grow it in Arizona. And
yeah,
guess who's growing it now? White people.
Right.
Oh,
There's no black farmers that can.
That's gonna be all of it. That's gonna be even Coke. I guarantee you. At one point in time, they were selling cocaine gum here, right? You can get. They even had. You played Red Dead Redemption, right? Mm. They even have it. Like they try to, you can get. They used to prescribe. Doctors here in America used to prescribe cocaine for pain, pure cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
Then they made it illegal, right? Why? It could be conspiracy. But I started noticing, like, a lot of the brown countries are the ones with cocaine. Like, right. So I guarantee you, as soon as somebody is behind the scenes right now, creating legislation to where when they do make it legal, white people will be the first people with the foothold in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
First time I looked at the requirements.
Well, they have legal crack. It's just prescription. It's the it's the farm.
Called
big
Adderall.
Yeah, I mean.
That. Because you really think about it, man, like literally to get I thought about it. As soon as I heard, I thought to myself, like, man, like if I can save enough. I saw how much you need for an actual just the license itself, it's like $75,000. That tells me right there when you drew this up, you made sure.
Yeah, you made sure people
Certain
who you
group of
wanted
people,
could
But
get.
that's what I'm saying. You got to be in that political realm to make this stuff and put it in doctrine, make these rules and laws. We have to be there to see
We gotta
that
make
shit.
these, and this community, in black community, we gotta make these occupations seem less lame.
Right,
That's it.
exactly.
That's all it is, really.
Because it's our well being. I mean, if you don't like the fact that your kid can go to jail for X amount for doing whatever, or that the fact that you can be pulled over and arrested and sit in jail for 2 years before your trial starts, and then what I'm saying, if you don't like those things, we have to get people out there in these political realms that can change these things. And I'm not saying black people or minorities need to get out there to make rules to benefit us. No, we have to make rules to benefit everyone.
So it's
fairly.
a level playing field.
Exactly.
Right.
But that has to happen. And like I said, I don't know if it's going to be us. I don't know if it's going to be someone who hears us and says, that inspires me to make change. But somebody has to do it. The bottom line is the white people have the hold over it right now, which is why they're ruling and leading this world. And definitely the United States of America. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
we have to break through that shit.
We also keep putting in people that we think represent us.
Right.
In the office, like Kamala Harris.
Yeah. From California, yeah.
A wicked witch of the yeah, that bitch is ill, bro. Like, have you? I don't know where. Like, the fact that you know what's ill too? She just released a video where she's dancing to Cardi B. That tells me that she's running for office. She needs the black vote, and she knows that she now looks cool. So black people want to just laugh. Oh, she looks cool. Obama was a slow talking, melodic type brother. Oh yeah, look. And I remember when I went to the local barbershop when he was first. Oh man, you know this dude drinks Hennessy and smoke Newports? We thought that was awesome. We really did. I'm thinking literally,
But
we gotta think.
Think about this: when Bill Clinton played the fucking saxophone
Yeah,
on Arsenio Hall,
yeah.
he was quote unquote black,
Right,
and
right.
he put the fucking 3 strikes rule into effect.
Yeah.
There's still brothers I work with this man's picture in their cubicle. Like, yo, that dude.
He was and I've heard this several times. Bill Clinton was the first black president.
Right. I've heard that too, yeah.
The most fucked up guy. This is what I'm trying to say, man. Like, I think we need to actually change the stigma on a lot of the things that we do in our community.
Well, we just need to get some real people in there, man. That's what we really need to do. We can't just keep saying, well, it's fucked up.
But think about it.
And
If
never
you're-
try to get in that
if I'm
realm.
a natural, you know what's weird is when you start looking at, it's weird. It's like, have you ever been around somebody that maybe went like very high in sports or something like that when they were younger? Have you ever met somebody like that?
Yeah,
Did
went
they
to high school
actually,
with a dude
in a
like that.
way, almost have a natural like leadership? It's almost like without them saying anything, just the
There was
aura-
there was a certain draw to him, yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying is those people looked and saw that being a rapper or being a basketball player was the cool thing to do, based on what this is the woman thing, based on what the sisters would like to have sex with. If women basically got online right now and was like, hey man, I like brothers in suits and that have a political mind and read books, yo, they would change the
Think about
landscape.
it. Think about how many ugly ass singers you've seen, but they can sing and they're fucking famous.
Yeah.
And yet they got bitches left and right.
Right. Singers, I mean, just anything you can think of.
If you're a rich with money, you will get a woman, regardless of what the fuck you look like.
Right.
Absolutely. Right. But it's you're right. But that's another thing. Right then and there, it's like we're not putting anything in substance. We're not actually looking at substance with anything in the community. I think that's the problem. It's like it doesn't have to do with substance. It has all to do with
Look at the music that's played now. There is no substance. It's a fucking catchy hook and a beat.
Right.
Reason why they're tattooing their faces and shit like that, it's clearly for attention.
I remember when Mike Tyson tattooed his face, and everybody's like, "What the hell is this dude doing?" Now it's like, and there's 1,000 other motherfuckers.
When Gucci Man got that fucking ice cream cone on his face, it was like that motherfucker stupid as shit.
Right.
And now everybody's. I'm gonna say since Wayne got his tattoos on his face, shit got cool.
Yeah, and the thing about it too, man, like once again, reverting back to the trigger warning with Killer Mike is the fact that the bad thing about it is not everyone who's in the music industry is talented. That doesn't really have anything to do with it. I mean, Kendrick Lamar said in one of his verses talking about if rap was basically talking about if rap was about talent, he said Killer Mike would be platinum. Like if that's what rap was about, because he knew Killer Mike is cold on the mic. And there's people out here making music that's the next trend or phase or whatever, and they're making music and they're getting the fame and fortune because they fit a certain criteria, or they have something about them. It's not necessarily their talent to rap or rhyme or nothing like that. It's they fit in. It's a business. It's a business, and they're looking for certain cogs in this business, and they're pushing it out on the public, and that's why a lot of kids think, okay, I see this guy doing this, that, whatever. He made it as a rapper because of his talent. No, he didn't. And plus, they already have him too. So don't do what he does because they already have him. They want something else. Because next year when he's gone, they're gonna want to fill that with somebody else. If you're the same as him, he basically took the 15 minutes for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how the rap game goes. You know what I'm saying? Or the entertainment game. You know,
it kind of used to. Now everybody is the same. There is no. It's hard to differentiate who the fuck you listen to.
Right, but I mean, but this wave will come and this wave will go.
It all shifts, but right now, I say for the past 4 or 5 years, it's been the same damn sound.
There's been a lot, yeah.
Yeah, man.
But that's people.
It's kind of like Milli Vanilli. Did they have any fucking talent? No.
Right.
They just had a look.
Yeah, just like Chris Cross. I mean, it's
Chris Cross has some bars though.
And the girl who sang
Jermaine Dupri has some bars, but you know
the fat black chick that was singing the song, and that actually has some skinny black chick mouthing the words.
Talking about with LL? I know Doing It was one. They had the big chick was the one singing and doing it.
That's happened several times.
The video was another chick.
It's always the one more appealing that they put in front, and the one with the talent is in the back.
Because even in the song Doing It, she says something like the way to break off a big girl. So, and that wasn't the chick in the video. You know, so LL knew. LL like, nah, that ain't her. But you know,
was that him or was the record label?
Right, no, I'm not saying it was LL. Yeah, I'm saying it was definitely.
We gotta start looking at substance rather than the outside appearance.
Well, I'm just saying, like when it comes to that entertainment, the hip hop and stuff like that,
there is no
substance. It's a business.
What can I get?
Right, we have to
immediate gratification.
Right, but we create that, right? We can't, like for example.
But if you're taught that, how can you change it?
All right, Walmart, right? Was like, you remember when people were pissed off at Walmart? It was that big coup where everybody was up there like, they're not paying their employees, it's an evil corporation, da-da-da-da. Mm-hmm. Walmart started in one building.
Sam
Walmart in one building. Now you have them all over the world. Like, so when we talk about music, the consumer, we can complain about it, but the consumer is the one creating the environment in which they have to listen to this shit. Like, literally, if people didn't buy Tekashi 6ix9ine shit,
it wouldn't sell.
Right. So we have it has a lot to do with us. So that's what I'm saying. It has to come from us to then praise substance, rather than telling us
when you're tricked by TV and what they're telling you is what you need to do.
And this is what this show is about.
Right, but plus also you gotta think about it too, man. It's not people like us aren't the ones pushing the music industry. It's not us. It's the kids. It's the kids who are pushing it. So it don't really matter what we say. They're gonna still push this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
is it the kids or is it the labels? Cause like think about it. When as a kid, did you like know who the fuck was who? Like.
Right, but as a kid, we didn't have social media though. Right. Nowadays, with social media, they see what's trending, they see what's pumping, and that's what they're leaning towards.
In a land of smiles, we base our parenting. In a lot of cases, I'm not saying everybody, we base our parenting on the amount of smiles we can give our children. It's what we do, like literally.
Man, and I agree with that, but my whole mindset is I tell them no as much as possible.
Right.
No. So you get that in your head. So you're going to hear it a lot in life. They don't listen to me, but they hear it.
And that's great. But you got to understand, man, there's a lot of fathers right now that it's, okay, I got to put my son's face, him smiling.
And I've told my kids, I don't want to be your friend. My goal is not to be your friend. That comes when you get out of my house.
Right. I'm your guy.
Yeah.
So
we can't be friends and I tell you what to do and you do what I say. You're going to look at me like, fuck, we're buddies. We ain't got to do what the fuck you say.
Yeah, I'm just going to take my ass home to my crib. Right. And I think basically we can still, it still falls upon us, not the company. You see what I'm saying? Because we're the ones telling our children, like, what substance is. But if we're like, if my child already, if the TV's already putting Tekashi in pink hair and they're looking at it like, this is interesting, and they're pushing that, it's still up to the parent.
Right.
So they look at the child like, hey, this is
like, yo, this ain't real. Like, this is, is that person, but you,
we're
but you ain't that
afraid.
person.
We don't want our children to be that kid that's the weirdo in class. Like, you don't know about this?
Well,
we literally
like Vaughn said, I tell my kids a lot about
Yeah.
shit that I think is lame. You know, I mean, I
Right.
tell them. I don't like sugarcoat it like, well, you know, this is not the approach. I tell them like that shit's lame. Like that's I tell them that shit. You know, because I'm not saying I speak to them in their language. No, because they still know I'm dad. But I let them know like these are words that you guys understand. So I'm gonna speak to you, and not getting onto the whole biblical thing. But in the Bible, it was talking about how when Jesus was going around, he was talking to everybody in their language because he understood that you have to talk to people in their language. Not every language is about, you know, oh, I'm gonna be so intellectual that you need to come to my level. You'll never be able to communicate
dumb shit down
with anybody.
sometimes.
I wouldn't even say dumb it down. You just gotta get to their level. If someone talks this way, talk to them in their tongue where they understand you. That's what it's about, getting that understanding. But
Right.
like I said, that's what I do with my kids. But the bottom line is the way everything is so accessible to kids nowadays. I'm not gonna say it's not a losing battle, but for every kid that their parent is telling them the right things to do, the right and wrong, and really dissecting stuff about them, there's 99 other kids whose parents aren't doing that shit, and that's the battle they're battling every single day. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And that's
right.
where that peer pressure. And we gotta understand too. Kids at certain points in their life, their brains and their hormones are going through certain stuff. So there's gonna be certain things that even with your best intentions, some shit's gonna fall through the cracks. You know what I'm saying? That just happens because 1 versus 100 or verse 99 is never a fair fight. It just never is.
And at the same time, you're also dad or mom, so
Right? You don't know shit.
Yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I got it all figured out.
Your job is to make my life miserable and boring. Like if you only knew.
Right.
Only knew, but
until you get out the house. And that's the ill part, man. We got to start doing that. I think the problem is a lot of parents, they don't want to actually admit that, you know, I was a fuck up too. Like, you know what I mean? They don't want to actually bow down and say like, yeah, I was promiscuous or I was. It's just don't do that.
Well, shit, my kids, and I tell my kids all the time. You know, like I said, it ain't me telling them. It ain't me being a hypocrite. But I let them know. Me and my wife, we had our first kid very young. I'm talking about R. Kelly young. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what it's like. So
swinging wood like that.
but I was underage too. But I understand. But I'm just saying I understand that. I'm not saying if my kids got pregnant at an early age that I would be like, well, you know, it is what it is. I did the same. I'm not saying that. It heightens my antenna where I'm focused more on that shit because I know them certain signals. You're like you recognize shit. Like, I know what I was doing when I was thinking this way or when I was doing this kind of shit. So it heightens my awareness when it comes to that. And that's what we should all do. We should all learn from our mistakes. So if we was promiscuous, if we was on drugs, if we was in a gang, if we was molested, if we was whatever, you have to learn from that shit and teach them about. You can't just leave it as like, well, shit, it happened to me, so. And I turned out good. You know, if it happens to them, they gonna turn out all right too. We can't do that.
And that's why I used to tell my oldest son when he finally moved out like a week ago. And now he's doing great. But before it was, dude, you're repeating the same goddamn mistakes. It's like a dog chasing his fucking tail.
Right,
when
right.
are you gonna learn from your mistakes?
Yeah.
When are you bump your head enough times? When the fuck is it gonna sink in? If I do this shit's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But they got it. Sometimes some kids are just fucking hard headed.
You know, I tell this story. I tell this story too, man. My oldest daughter. I used to always tell her when you're in the kitchen cooking, because like she used to like cook like fries or chicken or whatever, you know. And she'd go into the kitchen, fill up a pot with grease, turn the shit up to high,
Smoke the house up.
and just walk away, you know. And then go sit down or something, you know. Sometimes, and so one day she turns the shit up. She goes in the living room and she falls asleep. The shit catches on fire. And anyone who's been in my house, you may have seen the area. I mean, it's cleaned up as best we could, but the shit catches on fire. The little hood over the range, that caught on fire. My cabinet caught on fire. It went all the way up to the ceiling. I'm in the room because at that time I was working swing shift, so I think I was just waking up and like it was like in the afternoon, so I was just getting up. So she comes knocking on the door, Dad, you know. I'm like, what? You know, I come out the room. The flames going up to the ceiling, man. So I had to run over there, turn the shit off, open up the doors to get all the smoke out. But she learned. From that moment on, she learned. My middle daughter, we had some large dogs, and I'm gonna wrap this up. We had some large dogs, and I would always tell her, hey, when you bringing the dogs in and out from the house, keep the garage door closed so you can bring them in. She had the shit open. The dogs ran out, and they were big, but they weren't mean. And this dude was walking his dogs, and she got maced and shit because the dude was scared. He was spraying that shit all over, so it hit her in the face too, right? And I told her, I said, this is how you had to learn. And I tell my kids all the time, when I tell you some shit, listen to what I'm saying, and then you won't have to go through those shit. But those are hard lessons, but they've learned
and my uncle,
them lessons.
My uncle told me a great fucking, I don't know what the fuck you want to call it, but he said, if I tell you there's a snake around the corner, why are you gonna go check it out?
Right, right.
Trying to see what's possible.
So I'm telling you, something's gonna fucking happen to you, but you go do it anyway.
Right, and I think that's just part of just.
That is part of growing up.
Right.
You're curious. You want to find out. Because you don't believe what the fuck they're telling you.
Right.
But I think that.
But you got to be trustworthy too. They got to be able to trust you to understand. If you tell them something, it's legit.
I have a theory on that though.
What's up?
I think that comes from us lying to our kids at a very young age.
It could be.
Santa's here.
Oh no, we don't do
Easter
Santa.
Bunny. All right, but a lot of people do.
Right. The world.
My kids go
around
to
us
school
do
and
that.
saying there's no Santa.
Right. And then you telling me some shit later on. I'm like, you've been lying to me since I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to take your word for it? Let me check it. Oh shit.
I kind of
Pops
put
is
two
right.
and two together though, because we didn't have no fucking chimney, so
Oh no,
How the fuck
does
does it get
in
No,
here?
no. When you pour it, you know instantly at a very young age. Ain't
yeah, it's
such
fucking
thing no
Santa
more.
Claus. It's mom putting the shit under the fucking tree.
If there is some shit under the tree, hopefully.
Man, there was
right.
one Christmas I got a scarf and a fucking 12-piece Lego set, and that was my Christmas.
Damn, boy, what was that one with a Christmas story with the little homeless kid? Okay, but I think we get the gist of it. You know what I'm saying? I think we break.
Right.
break that
And
down.
you basically you can't lie to your kids and then later on say, well, I lied to you to protect you, and then later on explain to them why lying is wrong. They just don't.
Yeah.
Don't
Because
Max,
you hurt
Max, you got to be honest from the get go, man. And I learned that with Lil Man. As soon as that shit we even talked about, that doesn't exist. It sucked. I felt horrible.
You felt you were killing his spirit.
Right, like, but at the same time, I'm preparing you, like, because literally, I'm thinking to myself, like, literally, if I'm lying to you now, and then at a later date, I tell you some shit, like, how are you going to keep how's my word good to you?
Yeah, your word means nothing at that
It means
point.
until you find out, it's like, oh shit, Pops was right. But I can't get mad at him.
But you know what? Also, though, what that really reinforces to him is the fact that the fact that you are providing for him on Christmas. He sees my dad is providing for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think it's Santa and you think you ain't getting shit because you were good or bad or whatever, it don't matter what the hell your parents think about you. Like, I don't give a shit. I can be wild as I want because Santa's bringing me some. That's another nigga. It had nothing to do with my parents. You know what I'm saying?
Why y'all here?
Exactly.
Right.
But if they understand, like, no, my father's providing for me. My father's responsible enough to take care of business to be able to provide for me. That's a strong message for him to live his life. You know, you want to do the same shit for your kids. You want to provide for them.
When I say something, I mean that from the heart. I'm not saying this to deceive you.
And I try to tell them all the time, I'm not telling you nothing that's going to hurt you.
Right. Yeah.
My goal is not to set you back, it's to set you up.
Right.
Right.
Oh, that's just being mean again. No, motherfucker, I really ain't being mean. I'm just telling you the truth.
Yeah. I tell
Truth hurts.
Yeah, man. I tell the kids all the time. You know, like if you don't want to listen to me, when you go out and do some shit, and your friends are co-signing for you, when you go get locked up or something, call them to come get you out because they're gonna tell you what they want you to do or what you want to do because there's no repercussions for them. If you go to jail, oh damn, you got locked up or whatever, or you get killed, damn, that sucks, or whatever. You get someone pregnant or whatever, hey man, that sucks for you. But as a parent, you know, like, no, I'm part of the repercussion process. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might have to come get your ass. I might have to help take care of this kid or whatever, you know?
Right.
So the parent is going to tell you what's in the best. Most parents are going to tell you what's in the best interest of the kid, no matter what, no matter if they want to hear it or not. You know what I'm saying? But
Like I'm always telling you something that's going to help you. You may not like how it comes out, but it's to help you in the long run.
right.
And when I said, like, we measured on smiles, like, you understand, like, these kids are only trying to hear shit that makes them feel good at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Immediate gratification.
And that's what it's all about. That is the problem. I mean, think about it though. How hard is it for now as a child? For example, if I wanted to watch porn as a kid, like when I was younger, man, this shit was.
I had a system.
Make sure you
talking about
wind
the
the
TV?
tape.
Oh no, I ain't had no tape. This was
On the TV?
Yeah, my
Well, you had to
mom
change
used to
it
go to
to
work.
3 or 4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my mom used to go to work.
And then the squiggly lines.
I knew my mom went to work in the morning. I knew I had like 15 minutes before the naked shit went off. So I turned to it and it's just hearing it, or occasionally like it was straight up enough. You see a titty.
Every
Right.
while you see that one titty.
Or
Right?
it turns into like the green morphine. Like
Yeah.
you ever seen that? Yeah.
But you just hear everything.
Like oh shit.
Yeah,
Right.
That was the best shit. Like man, I don't know what the hell
Or even
happened, but
before that though. Like literally
the magazines and stuff.
The magazines
yeah.
or
somebody was sneaking to school like yo, they having a backpack like yo, can you look at this shit.
right, and then the tape.
I was walking around dicks hard as a mother.
Right.
Bunch of little
What am I supposed to do with
13-year-old boys with hard ass dicks walking around in class. Like, damn. That's when you start fucking around with the girls, man, and getting your ass in trouble. Fingering girls in the other. Well, I ain't gonna say that.
But you put the tape in, right? And you would put the tape in. You watch, like you hope it's on some good shit.
Yeah.
And then, but you remember where you left off.
Right.
This way, you rewind it back to the part. Then you put it back, and then you put it underneath your parents' mattress, in between the box spring and the mattress. That's what I had to do. I had to do some 007 shit to see porn. Just imagine this: you're a kid growing up, where you can actually turn on your phone.
Yeah.
Instant clear porn.
Yep.
And we've caught my middle son with some Pornhub. His older brother dined him out, so he was on Pornhub. So.
But think about it. That's all. So you think about a child, though, and then the parents. We're trying not to let our children fall behind materialistically.
So we try to give them everything.
Yeah.
Give them everything. So it's instant gratification nonstop.
Yeah.
Eventually, your life turns into that. Like you literally, that's why they found out like a lot of kids are quitting jobs at this age right now. Is because they're thinking, as soon as I get through the door, I should be able to jump to manager in 3 months.
Right.
It takes time.
They can YouTube.
They don't
what it is to
understand
be a
you
man.
gotta-
I can do that shit.
You gotta set that foundation and work up to it. And you just say YouTube. I had a fucking long ass conversation with my middle kid yesterday, and I was so fucking frustrated at the end of the conversation. I just really wanted to beat his ass. But it was like, well, I want to make this money, but I don't want to do the work to get it. Basically, was the gist of the conversation. Well, I can. There's people that play video games and you can make money that way. I said, but they still that's still in some way in form that's work. If it was so easy, then everybody would be able to do it. But that doesn't. That falls deaf on his ears.
Right, and that's the thing. The video games that y'all playing, that's the end product of a lot of that shit. Of a lot of hours and hours of trial and error of some shitty ass games to get to what's released. So yeah, you're right. That is a job. That's a real job.
It's
man.
like I want this, that, and the third. I'm like, dude, you got some expensive ass fucking taste. You need to get a fucking job. He wants retros. You will not get a goddamn retro. This is the thing. You can get retros when you get straight A's or you have honor roll.
Yeah.
That's what you can get.
That shows incentive that you
And
basically understand.
that deal has been on the table for 3 years.
But that's
That should tell you
right. But that's the
where
thing.
that's going.
Right. But I guarantee if he get away with it, he has figured out a way to get them without having to jump through the hole. That's like the kids are in like when you were talking about with the tapes. It's amazing how genius we are when it comes to getting shit that we really want, whether it's right or wrong. Like it's amazing how we do shit.
The links we will go.
You know what I'm saying? But we won't put that same
Effort into some good
into
shit.
doing. Yeah, exactly. Like man, I'm gonna go ahead and get these tests. I'm gonna get all A's and I'm gonna get this homework. We just don't do that.
That's
shit.
the same thing with the guy on the street selling dope.
Yeah. Right.
You got that ingenuity, but you're not putting it towards the right shit.
Right. Exactly.
Right, absolutely. I mean, which sucks though, because I mean, honestly, pharmacies are doing that shit like every day. You know what I mean? So the guy is just fucked up. It's just the things that we're
He's an illegal pharmacist.
Right.
Right.
Niggas in the hood may be ignorant, but they're not idiots. You know,
They're just a product of the environment. That's
Right.
really what it is. And you can't get you can't get something from nothing. If I'm in a fucked up environment, I'm learning to survive in that fucked environment. I can't pull anything outside of this environment to help me. So that's where you're gonna get illegal pharmacists and all this other shit. But it's do the best at what you got when you have it. You know what I mean?
And that's what I would say, man. Managers and CEOs and shit should be there should be black women, single black women or single men should be running shit like that, because when you have to figure out, I'm talking about people that came from nothing. When you have to figure out how to get everything fed, all the lights working and clothes and everything, that's genius level multitasking. You know what I'm saying? That's
right.
That's what that is.
Hustling.
But when everything is comfortable, you don't have to figure out shit.
So, and that kind of ties in with the shutdown that just ended.
Right.
If you could be so quick Trump and Congress, where the fuck, to shut down the government, knowing that people aren't going to get paid. You can do that because you don't know what it's like not to have anything.
Right.
You've never had to go without shit.
If you don't get a paycheck, you're like, shit, I'm good. I got enough money in the bank. Right.
But it's not even that.
Paid for 2 years. And
it's not even that. You've always had money.
Right.
Money has never been an issue. So you don't understand when somebody who doesn't have a check and they're wondering how the fuck they're gonna get to work. You can't feel that. There's no empathy at all.
Right.
And that's why you had Trump's dude saying, "Well, I don't understand why they just won't get a loan." Well, motherfucker, now you want to put them in debt on top of not paying them?
Go get a title loan. You know what I'm saying? 9,000% interest rate for $500.
But if you've never had to struggle, you can't help people. That's why the president shouldn't be somebody who came from wealth, or it should be a regular motherfucker who had the struggle coming up and understands what people really need.
Y'all remember the pizza guy though? The brother that ran. See,
you didn't hear about it. No, you weren't gonna hear about it. Unless it was a joke.
No, this dude it was legit. He literally actually owned his own pizza spot when the pizza.
Well, see, Mike, you said the pizza guy, not the pizza owner.
I thought it was a delivery man.
But even with that, just think about that. Just honestly,
this pizza nigga
runs this pizza. But what I'm saying is, it was due to the fact that just think. Even if it was a delivery guy, why wouldn't he get the same respect as somebody that just came out the womb rich?
Because if anything, that pizza guy knows the hustle, knows how to make shit work more than the dude that's always.
And can relate to 90% of the country.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but the ill part is it's what we actually.
But that's what I'm saying. We don't want that though.
He's not deemed important because he doesn't have.
You don't want to take.
They represent the image we want to be. That's when we see the Obamas and all these people in these suits, and and we're looking at this like that's what I want to be. So that's who I'm going to vote for. In a materialistic, because truth of the matter is, look, I know I'm going to get a Uncle Ruckus comment. Trump and Obama are not really that big of a difference. I'm sorry.
They're different in how they come across.
They come across. But truth of the matter is, like what I said before.
But
statistically,
no president has done anything for anybody other than their constituents and their shit.
Exactly. Right? But if you really got that pizza guy in there, think about it. And there was a black man that created his own pizza shop, things like that. So that means he had to start from nothing, figure out, understand people, empathize to then create a place to, because I mean, let's be real, man. I would automatically have went to a rib shack if I had the money, or I would automatically try to create a rib shack or barbecue or something. But this dude was able to literally look at where he's at, apply it. That means he came from nothing to something.
But you think about it.
You went through as a human.
Right, but if you think about it, what he did was genius. I mean, you got supply and demand and all that shit. But he was talking about pizzas. Pizzas, you can
universal.
They're cheap to make. You make a pizza and you can sell it by the slice. The soda, you buy the damn, the syrup, and then you get the carbonated stuff. I mean, it's your invoice or everything it takes.
No overhead.
Right. So that's genius to do that shit.
Right.
That's why there's so many pizza places around the country.
Right.
Because it's cheap and it's cheaper than a rib shack. Because you can't go in a rib shack and get a damn rib meal or anything to fill you up for a couple bucks.
What's that?
But you can go get a slice
with Chris Rock.
I'm gonna get you something. Let me get one rib.
One rib. Just one rib. You put it in my hand. Put it in my hand with a dime. Like, nigga. But you're right. You can't go in there for less than $5 to $8. You can't. But you can go buy a slice of pizza, and that should, because I mean it's a bunch of dough and shit, so it's gonna hold you over.
And really, you just gotta know how to make the dough.
Right.
Which isn't hard. Yeast, some flour, and that's what I'm saying though. But this dude, for him to do that and to think that, coming from where he came from, relates way more than you had Trump selling once again steaks at Radio Shack. Like, you understand that? Like, but the crazy part about it, when Trump
wouldn't go to Radio Shack to get a steak. Come on, man.
when people were looking at Trump, it was, see how ruthless he is. See his cars. He has Trump Tower. It's those parts we're actually putting. We're judging the wrong attributes when it comes to the person.
What he had made people think that he knew more than what he knew.
Right.
Right. His wealth or financial background made him look more intelligent than what the fuck he really is.
But you had to see that. He had to present it. But the shit come out of his mouth, it's like
it doesn't match.
How did you get here? Like,
well, but even some people were thinking he's like that and he's still making money, so I'm gonna follow the dude. He can be himself and still make that money.
And that's why you have these people.
Trump is the white people's version of keeping it real, man. He's saying whatever the hell he want to say. You know, he ain't gonna let him throw him out like Donald Sterling or whatever else. They ain't gonna silence him. He gonna say what the fuck he want to say.
Which is
that's why they doing that shit.
Because truth of the matter is, everybody in this room actually has more money, assets than Donald Trump. That's crazy to me. You see what I'm saying? He's actually in the hole. I think $100 million. He works. I'm not exaggerating. So he works off his debt and his name. So whenever he needs a loan or some shit like that, or he's working off of his name and debt. People like he literally works off of debt. We don't do that. We can't do that.
Can't afford to do that.
We can't.
Right. So why would you?
Our debt gets too much. We go to jail.
Right. So that tells me that when we look at a person and we measure their success, it's based on the physical, material things that they have.
Which seems to be a running theme with the show.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, and that's what I mean.
Every episode, this shit comes up.
Yeah, it does. You know what? It's funny, man. When it comes to the show, throughout the week, man, I have so many topics on sports, or I have so many topics on like religion, or just like real Trump, real shit. And then when we get here, and we do hover around a lot of the same topics. But I think it's warranted. I think it's because this is the world that we're living in right now, you know. And I think that hopefully this show
and sometimes
will help somebody deal with their surroundings and people around them that are maybe ignorant and don't want to speak out or don't want to say something. Right. Hopefully, we give them something that they can help.
It's like repeat
maintain.
Yourself to your kids all damn time. You do it, so hopefully it sinks in.
Yeah.
So when the time comes, that shit comes out of nowhere,
right?
And then it's there.
And absolutely right. That is the truth, like a motherfucker. Honestly.
Yeah. Put it in that subconscious.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit I did. I think y'all know me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the greatest type person, but I remember some shit that resonated. Even with shit other people we went to work with and that told me that just resonated at a later date, and I was like, "Fuck, this is what this person was talking about." So it's ill, man. It's like I think, and it's probably due to the fact we don't really trust people around us, so it's hard for us to take somebody else's word for it without knowing their background. But I think majority of the world is weird. It's like serial killers represent, I think it's like 0.00001 of the population. But somehow we can look at each other like, I don't trust this motherfucker. He could try to, like, rapists represent a small, child pedophiles represent a very small part of the population. But we look at each other
as the potential to be that.
You know what? And that's the crazy thing too. Like, I don't know if y'all heard that something about that Ted Bundy.
I watched the whole thing, bro.
Well, I'm just saying, like the Ted Bundy thing that's on Netflix. Now the motherfuckers are getting all like the vibe around the show is not necessarily about the killing. All these women talking about how handsome the dude is. That's ridiculous to me. That's ridiculous to me.
So that's what I'm talking about with women, man.
But I will say the same. I heard the same shit about Casey Anthony. I heard the same shit about Casey Anthony and Jodi Arias. So people are.
Oh, they're women though. It's different.
Right, no, but I'm saying, like, I heard a lot of dudes like, yo, man, Jody, man, would you do it?
Yeah.
Or Casey, like, come on, man, are you serious? But I heard that same shit, so.
But, come on now.
That's a little different, though. What situation? You joke?
I didn't say shit here.
But you know, it's just crazy because you're right. That shit seems to be
I saw
the guiding.
All the sexy Ted Bundy shit. It's like, wait. So y'all saw this documentary? Mm-hmm. Notice this man butchered, not just took it,
brutally
took
butchered,
it, and it started ripping shit off.
Yeah.
Somehow we can still look at this as like, this guy is sexy as shit. So what does this tell about? And remember that one kid that walked around shooting because women want different shit?
Yeah, there's a category for those folks. I don't remember the name, but I saw it. I was watching him. Another dude did it recently. Yeah,
right. Walking around
because you can't get women. Right. You're angry and
right. But the ill part was he was like, I'm doing everything that they say they want. Right.
Okay, I remember that.
I'm doing. I got the nice clothes. I have the nice car. I have this. I have all these things. Isn't that crazy? That a person that can drive a person. So that tells you right then and there. I mean, of course, it's weird, but that should tell you right then and there, man, that women really control the environment. It's just weird that they're unaware that they are the controllers of the environment due to their own addiction to physical. A man's bigger, powerful, but it's weird. It's like, think about a man and his mom. Most men and their mom. You can have a mom that's no more than 4 feet tall, telling that 7-foot son to shut the fuck up, and it's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Right. That should tell you right then and there that women have way more power than
My mom is a little motherfucker.
Don't cross it.
Right.
And my brother's 6'2", and he to this. Yeah, okay, mom. Yes, ma'am.
Right. So the reason why is because your mother warrants that type of
She commanded the respect.
Right. Because she's looking at you and she's telling you what she expects from you.
Yeah, because they took care of you when they didn't have to.
Right. But she's also telling
you could have been dropped in the trash somewhere, but you know.
That's that part, right? Right.
Like, damn, I could have been. Hey, mama, you could have been in the trash, mama. You knew that. All right, mama. All right, I'll be home.
Me on that.
I'll be home by 10.
Right, exactly. But that tells you right then and there that what they expect from you, and it has a lot to do with a mom, what she expects from you as a son. That molds a man. The same thing with women. Women are telling men what they're expecting from them subconsciously, which is these fucked up, extrinsic objects that don't mean shit in the long run.
Right.
Rather than I'm expecting respect from you. I'm expecting you to treat me and everybody around with some type of empathy and all these other things. And it's weird. It's like women don't really get that until they get a certain age. And then it's like, oh shit. So I'm not saying women, I'm saying they're controlled by the television. But I'm saying that if they realized that they were being controlled, that
it would be different.
It'd be truly different. They then apply what they really want out of women.
Plus, women are dirty. Women are dirty to each other. Other women influence some women's actions a lot more too than a dude that's trying to smash.
I think so. There's like tribes in Africa where the women actually pick women. Right?
Huh?
So that means that they actually have to basically choose the actions they feel are necessary for them to create a strong group of people.
Mm-hmm. For the survival of the race.
For the survival of the race. We don't think about that. We don't have that mentality. Because we really believe that these other actions actually represent something like we just talked about, a trade, somebody like a plumber. In a world where you're looking at this person, it's like, oh man, this person has an idea. He wants to get money to make sure that something is a roof over his head, right, and the bare essentials are taken care of. But a nigga with a Gucci belt on, with no job, it's telling you with just those objects that I don't care about anything essential. It's about what's right now. Mm-hmm. How is that more? See what I'm saying? It's almost like it's a flip. The things that we're supposed to be putting coveting in a man is now flipped into a materialistic edge where now you have a bunch of men fighting to get these materials with no background or no knowledge of how to actually get them.
Like you said, it ain't until later in a woman's life when she realizes, hey, this shit wasn't important at all. Now I need this. Now I got a man that can't fucking meet me halfway, and I'm taking care of this motherfucker.
Exactly. And the men that's around you, none of them are no good because they never was trained and showed the right way to be a man. You know, it's too late. You know,
right?
And as a grown woman, you have to still teach a grown ass man how to be a man. You know,
this is a theory. I'm gonna close out with this, right? I got a theory with men and women. I think men see women in a way as I think everything created is an extension of ourselves on this planet, right? Cars, things like that. So, men really think of women as being cars in a way. And what I mean by that is, you realize, like, you know, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but you know when you first get a brand new car that's good, right? You got
love that motherfucker.
You love it.
You do extra shit
like
for it.
You just look at it for no reason.
My language. Likes to do good.
Yeah.
You look out the window at that shit. It's still there.
You go in the garage and look at it, sit in it for no reason.
And that smell and shit.
Right.
Yeah, you start fiddling around with shit that you don't even need.
Right.
Hey, look at that shit.
A few weeks come past, and then it's like, damn, why I didn't get this motherfucker?
Oh, it's dirty as fuck.
When that first note come in.
Right. Because you were focused on more of exactly the physical aspect of it. So that's why I said, man, right. But kind of like, you ever had a car that you knew everything about it? When it hit the E, you knew exactly how far you could go. Were you like, oh, this motherfucker paid off. This is all me. Which one would you rather have?
At my age now, I want the motherfucker that's paid off with the gas gauge that don't work.
Right, exactly.
But at my younger age, I wanted the fancy shit.
Right,
so
and
I can
you did
check
that note back is fucked up, and you
like,
got
damn,
your oil
bro.
change. Exactly. But when you know your own car, and that's what I mean. It's kind of like with women. That's what men are focused on. You need to find that car that you're comfortable with and don't focus on the physical aspects of it. It's going to fuck you in the long run if it's all you're focused on. You're not gonna be happy with it. You're not gonna be able to connect with it. And I bring up this example of Sam Walmart. You know, this man still drives the same truck he has to every boardroom that he got when he first opened his first Walmart. He just continues to. I told you, it says a lot about the character. Now, when it comes to women, right? I noticed something.
Well, but he's Sam Walton or whatever. He's Sam Walton.
Yeah.
He's Sam Walton. You really don't need you don't really need nothing else to shine your light on you. You're like, oh, I'm Sam. I'm Walton. This is me.
Right, but you driving
Panties are dropping, period.
A pickup truck.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
What I'm saying
that's not your only transportation.
Right, I'm not saying it is though, but what I'm saying is what he actually put the focus on. He knows he knows this, right? And that's when we're in love and that's what it is. Like, I don't give a fuck about all those nice fancy cars. I know this. I know this like the back of my hand. Like, I don't want a new car note. I don't want to
have to figure out what this motherfucker like and don't like.
Exactly. Right. So, and then on the other hand, women think of me as person.
An accessory.
Boom. But the ill part I realized though is all women literally actually have more than one purse, right? Right. So they'll have the Coach, the Gucci. Then I noticed something. They all of them have this real big ass black or brown bag. Right. They got all kinds of shit stuffed in it. Right. They got candy, books, all kinds of that Coach purse, right? They keep it real nice and neat. Right. That's what women are looking for. That Coach purse. That's the man, right? Where he's good looking, right? He's, he has all the outside appearance, no substance.
Flashy motherfucker.
You can't put shit in the Coach purse. You're gonna fucking ruin the value, right? So basically, what you're looking for is that black bag to have all the time. Something that basically it's going to support.
Something that's dependable, reliable. You know what the fuck it's gonna do and how it's gonna do.
Right. So
we can turn to a weapon if you need that shit.
So right. So what I'm trying to say is we need to think of women, right? We need to stop thinking of them in the physical aspect, as well as women need to stop thinking of men in the material aspect.
Like I saw something today where men are attracted to looks, whereas white women dress up the way they do with makeup. And women are attracted to lies that men tell because they don't want to hear the fucking truth. They want to hear what makes you look good.
Right.
What makes you seem like you can provide.
Right. But think about this. When women actually have a dude, they all say, like, if the guy's good looking enough and he knows it, if a woman, if she leaves that purse unattended, bitch gonna come up and snatch that shit. So she has to upkeep with this purse. She has to focus. I put a lot of money in it. I invest a lot of shit in this purse. But I just can't. I'm always focused on this purse. But that black and brown bag, ain't nobody gonna try to snatch that shit. People gonna walk right past it. And all that shit. They're not focused on that. So what I'm saying is, now our mental is not focused on the physical aspect. It's all about the stuff within.
That makes sense. That's a drop the mic moment.
That's a drop the mic. I'm done here.
Well,
what? We'll elaborate more on it.
Yeah. So we gotta bookmark that and make sure we pick up on that because that was some real knowledge you were spitting right there.
I'll try.
Like I said, everybody wants knowledge. Everybody wants knowledge. Everybody wants knowledge. We can't fight it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, I say we pick that up, man.
Absolutely, man.
So it's been another great show. I mean, those of you who are listening, for the religion stuff, man, it's
it will be here next week.
The show, we don't have no script for the show. It just kind of flows. So it didn't flow that direction tonight, but it definitely will pick it up. But I don't have nothing else. Vaughn, you got any last words or anything? Not last words, but
couple.
For the show.
Just new record by Joel Ortiz and goddamn, what the fuck is his name? The Gorilla Glue. This shit is nice. Check it out. Real good. Fred the Godson, yeah. Fred the Godson, Joel Ortiz. It's a dope album.
Sorry about that.
But yeah, check it out. Again, check out Trigger Warning with Killer Mike. There is going to be a season 2 where he delves into prison reform and a few other things. So definitely check that out. Yeah. And that's all.
We all good here, baby. We're going to get back to you. We're going to keep the block down next time, man. With sources and all that. So
Yeah. Just be on the lookout for that. But just our show, man. If you love us, tell a friend, and if you hate us,
Tell every damn body you know.
peace. We out.